Hey everyone, thanks for learning to play games. My name is Lance, and in today's video I'm going to be playing through a brand new game coming to Kickstarter called Champions of the 100 Halls. This is a brand new game by Thomas K. Carpenter. It is a 1 to 4 player game that takes roughly 1 to 2 hours to play, and it's a fully cooperative game where all the players are working together to defeat whichever scenario they've chosen to go on. So in this game, this is based on the 100 Halls novel series that was written by Thomas, and he wanted to bring this to the board gaming space so new people can experience this different world that he has created. And in this world, you are going to be playing different characters that are part of this world that are attending this school for magic, and each one of the halls focuses on different abilities and different areas and all kinds of different stuff. And so throughout this game, you're going to experience some of those different areas and some of the different realms and schools of magic and all kinds of different things as you make your way through the different scenarios. So in this video, I'm going to be playing through the game, showing you the first, middle, and end few turns to give you a better idea how this one plays and progresses, and help you decide on whether or not this is one you want to back on Kickstarter. There are a couple important things that I want to point out as I filmed this intro after playing through the game, and so there was a couple little mistakes that I am going to make notes of in the video, but I do want to cover a couple of them here. The biggest one is when characters die. So when characters die, that player is still going to be part of the game and will get to take one action during that player's turn, and he'll also augment the other players, giving those players any damage that they do a +1 bonus to that. So that was a little mistake that I made in the video, which could have potentially had a little bit of a different outcome for me, but I don't want to spoil anything with this. I do also want to point out that all the materials are prototype materials and are subject to change. They look a lot better than the final production copy of the game. So as always, if you find my videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we continue to grow, build and produce this content. If you want to get notified anytime I drop new videos, also give that notification bell a ring, and I'll let you know whenever I drop new stuff. So let's go ahead and head to the table, and we'll see how this one plays. So before getting into the game, I do want to cover some of the setup things, as that is going to be important as you get into the game. So first off, at the beginning of the game, during setup, you're going to choose a scenario, and that's going to give you your overall boss that you need to beat, and a full deck of cards that are going to have other enemies and other effects and spells and all that in there that are going to hinder you throughout the game. And with that one, it's going to have a reference card that'll list your main boss on it, along with any setup instructions and then turn instructions that will trigger at the beginning or end of each one of the scenario turns. And any other additional things. For example, with Prince Alistair here, he has 2 different mini bosses, more or less, that are going to protect him, and once they're down, then you can actually start hitting him. Next, you're going to have to choose a realm, and there's going to be a number of different realms, and each one of the realms is going to have its own setup card as well that'll list when it takes its turn or effects and what happens with it. And then that deck is going to contain all kinds of different things, such as quests and different effect cards that the players are going to have to handle throughout the game. That with some of them, for example with quest cards, they will give the players some rewards for completing those quests. From there, then, each player is going to choose one of the characters that that player wants to play as, and will place out their reference card along with any other cards that are listed on there that you need to put out. For example, with Claire here, she actually starts with the Forge artifact in play, and that's going to have an effect on her. From there, then, each player is going to shuffle up their deck and deal out 5 cards into their hands. From there, then, you're ready to move into the game. So with the game, it is going to be played in rounds or turns, where you're going to start with the scenario deck, and you're going to start with any beginning of turn effects on that deck. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have here. So each one of the cards you have to go through, as it's going to have different effects on it. So for example, with our mini boss here, we have at the beginning of the scenario turn, flip over a card from their scenario deck. And then she also has an end of scenario turn effect. Along with each one of these characters is going to attack as well. So let's go ahead and resolve that first. So we have a Golem Warrior. This construct has 3 hit points. So I'll go ahead and place those out real quick. And I think these were just extras as well. So he has 3 hit points, and it says when the Golem comes into play, deal 2 damage to the player with the highest HP. So right now, these 2 are tied. So I'll have my player over here take it. So she'll take 2. All right, and then I'll place him out, and he's got 3 hit points. And his effect, he also has, if there are 5 or more Golem Warriors in play, at the end of the scenario turn, deal 5 earth damage to all players. So we have to kind of keep an eye on how many of those are out there. All right, so I handled her beginning of the scenario effect. And let me check and see if there's anything else. So with the main boss here, it has beginning of the scenario turn, flip over a card from the scenario deck. So he's going to do the same thing. We have another Golem Warrior, so this one is going to do 2 to her. And I'll just take 1 more hit point for that. That way then there's 3 out there for him. All right, that handled his effect, and so that will be the beginning of the round effects. So from there, then we'll go ahead and check this guy. He has end of scenario effects as well. So there's no other beginning of scenario effects. So now we'll move into end of scenario effects. So again, starting over here. So with her, she has the end of scenario turn. She's going to deal 3 air damage to a player with the most cards in hand. And right now, all 3 of my players are tied for 5 cards in their hands as they're just starting out. So I think I'll take it with her. So she'll take 3 more. So that'll take care of that. And that'll finish off that character. Over to the main boss. He has, at the end of the scenario, Prince Alistair deals 3 damage to the player with the highest number of cards in hand. Again, we are tied. So I'll go ahead and take it over here with this guy. So 2 back. That'll take care of his turn. And over to our other mini boss. This one is at the end of the scenario turn, deal 3 earth damage to the player with the lowest HP, which is going to be her. She's taken a couple of hits already. So she's going to take that. So she's down to 32 already. All right, and then I don't think either one of these guys had any end of round. Okay, so they do not. So that will end the scenario deck's turn. Now we're going to move over to the realm deck. And with the realm deck, we are playing, or I'm playing, the City of Sorcery. And this one is at the beginning of the realm turn, flip over a card from the deck. And this says whenever a player completes a realm quest, that player heals 1 damage and draws a card. All right, so let's see what we have here. So we have the Septi's Requests. So this is a quest, and it says he wants you to beat him in a duel. He has 10 hit points. At the end of the realm turn, deal 2 damage to the player with the lowest HP. And the reward is the Tomb of War. It's a trinket, and it's an activated ability. Lets you draw 2 cards and play 1 from your hand. That's actually pretty good. All right, so he's going to have 10 hit points. So I'm going to go ahead and give him 5, and we'll give him some change. And then he's going to trigger right away because it'll be the end of the realm effect after this. So he's going to deal 2 damage to the player with the lowest HP. So my poor Forge Master over here is getting her butt hit pretty hard. All right, so that is the end of the realm deck's turn. So from there, then it moves into the player turns, and the players will be able to dictate and determine how each player activates. So you'll choose one of the players to activate, and then another player will activate, and so on until all players have activated. But the order does not matter, and you can do it in any order you want to. So let me see what I have here with Zach here. There's Zan. So he has a spell. Deals X damage, where X is the number of endowments in his graveyard. Can play 2 additional cards. Okay. Deal 3 earth damage to any target. Heal target player 2 damage. That's pretty good. All right. Leaping Punch. Target non-boss enemy does not attack next turn. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the enhanced reflexes. So this one says that Zan can play 2 additional cards this turn. So during a player's turn, that player has 3 different actions that player can perform. The first 2 can be done in any order, which are to play 1 card from your hand and to activate a card in play or one of your abilities, which you have 2 different abilities. You have an activated ability, and you have a 5 elements ability that lets you do 2 damage for my players, either in one of the 2 different elements that they have to an enemy out on the board. And then after that, once a player has completed those, then they're going to end their turn by drawing a card. And each player's hand size is maxed out at 7, so at the end of your turn, if you have more than 7 cards, you'll have to discard down. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that is my card. Now I get to play 2 additional cards with this, so he has special abilities that basically supersede that. So now let's see what I want to do here. I am going to go ahead and play this on this guy here. That way then he won't be doing damage this turn. So that was my first. And then I'm going to go ahead and play this one here. It's a spell, it's an endowment, and it deals 3 earth damage to any target. Heal target player 2 damage. So I'm going to go ahead and give 2 back to my player here. And I'm going to go ahead and target one of those Golem Warriors. So I'm just going to put him in the discard pile face or upside down. And that'll take care of that. Now I'm starting to build up some of the cards in my discard pile as a lot of my abilities chain off of those. All right, then I'm going to activate my activated ability. This is a speed tattoo. It lets me draw 2 cards and then I discard 1 card from my hand. So I have Veil Assassin. As an additional cost to the spell, discard 1 card, destroy target non-boss enemy with 10 HP or less. So that could be pretty good. All right. Now I have to choose one to get rid of. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the Sly Blade. That gives me 3 endowments in my graveyard, which is going to really help me with some of my abilities later on. So then I'm going to end my turn by drawing another card into my hand. So I have Enhanced Reflexes, so that's great. That lets me play additional cards. And that'll end my player's turn, as there's nothing else I can do at this point. So from there, then it's going to go to one of my other 2 players, and I'm going to go ahead and kick over here to Claire and see what I can do with her. So she has, now with her Forge, this gives her some interesting abilities here. So it says, whenever a Forge card is played, put a counter on the Forge and deal damage to any target based on the number of counters on the Forge. Damage not modified by any other effects. And the Forge is immune to realm and scenario effects and cannot be sacrificed or targeted in any way. So that's really cool. All right, so she does have some trinkets that are part of the Forge already. So let's see what we got here. So first off, this player's damage increases by 1. When played, this card may be given to another player. So she can actually augment other players' abilities as well. So that's really nice. We have Heat Up Forge, add 2 counters to the Forge, which triggers damage once for the final number. Draw a card. That's pretty good. Activated ability, draw 3 cards, discard 1 from your hand. When played, this card can be given to another player. Okay, so that's pretty good. That actually might be good for him. And damage from realm effects, quests, or own cards are reduced by 1 for this player. When played, this card can be given to another player. So all kinds of good stuff. She's got some really sweet things. Whenever this player discards 1 or more cards, deal 1 damage to any target. Effect triggers only once per discard effect. When played, okay. So she's got all kinds of interesting things. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the Arcane Enhancer though. So this player's damage increases by 1, and I'm going to go ahead and give it to Zane there, and then I'm going to add a counter to the Forge, and this lets me deal 1 damage as there's only 1 counter on there right now. I'm going to go ahead and start ticking away on this guy. All right, so that was play my card. I do have an activated ability. I can copy an artifact. Until the beginning of Claire's next turn, copy the effect of any trinket or artifact in play for Claire. I don't think so at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and do the 5 elements and just do some air damage to this guy as well. So that will take 2 more away. And then I'm going to end my turn by drawing a new card. I have a Fazri Director. Whenever this player plays a card, deal 1 damage to any target. Oh, whenever you play a card. Ooh. So she's got some cool stuff too. All right, so she's done. And then it's over to Aerie to go last. And Aerie's kind of my healer support character, so I'll see what I can do with her. All right, so she has Rapid Research. Each player draws a card, play 1 card from your hand. Okay. Increase Aerie's damage by 1. We have deal 2 spirit damage to target enemy, draw a card. Deal 3 fire damage up to 3 different targets. That's cool. Activated ability. Deal 4 spirit damage to quest or realm targets. Okay, so that's really good for handling realm cards. And that's an activated ability, so I place this out and then I can activate this by using my activation. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and flip these around so I don't get confused on my discard pile. Because I'm gonna have, it looks like we're gonna have, I'll have a number of cards out here under each of the players. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one to deal the Flame of Truth. So this one deals 3 fire damage to up to 3 targets. So who do I want to hit here? So I think I'll hit him. So he has 4 hit points remaining. So that was 1. I'm going to go ahead and hit him for 3. For 2. I could take out the Golem Warrior, but I think I'm going to go ahead and hit her for 3 as well. These bosses I definitely need to start working on the mini bosses. All right, so that was her card activation. And then she has Selfless Protector. Aerie takes 2 damage, which cannot be prevented. Target other player cannot take damage until Aerie's next turn. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do the 5 elements instead and do 2 spirit damage. And it says whenever Aerie deals spirit damage to 1 or more targets, heal target player 1 damage. So I'm going to go ahead and give 1 damage back to her. And I'm going to do 2 more damage to somebody. I'm going to go ahead and hit her for 2 more. So now I'm going to go ahead and make some change and take the 5 away instead. All right, so that is her turn. So then I'll draw a card, and I have the Biblioscribe, activated ability. Each player draws a card. Sweet, yeah, so she's got some nice support abilities as well. All right, so from there, that is the end of the player turns. So now I'm gonna move back into the beginning of the scenario turn, restarting a new round. So with this, I basically, at the beginning of the scenario, I'm going to draw 2 cards from the scenario deck, 1 for each one of these, each one of the different bosses. And then, now that he's out, he doesn't trigger any other effects, and he's just an attacker at the end of the round. So, first card is another Golem Warrior, so it's 2 damage to the player with the highest HP. So right now, it's going to be her. So I'll take 2. So we have another one out there. 1, 2, 3. And wow, another card. All right, so I think she still has the highest. So it's another 2 damage. Okay. And 3 more. All right. So we're up to 3 of those guys already. Keep an eye on them. All right, so that is the draw. So that's the beginning of the round. So now it's end of round. All right, so again, she's going to deal 3 damage to the player that has the most cards. And at this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5. All right, so it's a tie. So when a tie comes up, I get to choose. So I'll take 3 from her to start it off. And then he does the same thing. So I'll take 3 there. And then he's going to target the player that has the lowest HP, which is going to be her for 3. So down to 32. All right, so that takes care of him. None of these guys have any effects, so that will end the scenario turn. Over to the realm turn. He is not going to activate because of this. That's at the end of the turn, so let's make sure I do it in the right order here. We have another card coming out, and this is the Salazar Serial Killer Quest. So, Inspector has been killing locals in the Enchilon district, and it's gonna have 12 HP. So I'll take care of that. At the end of the realm turn, deal 2 damage to the player with the lowest HP. And the reward is the Aura of Pain. It's enchantment. Damage to non-boss enemies increases by 1 for this player. Okay. So then the end of round effects are going to trigger, so I'll just handle that real quick. So he isn't going to do anything. And then this one I'll place over here for the time being. And again, that's 2 to the player with the lowest HP, which unfortunately is her. She's taken tons of hits here. And that is going to finish off that. So again, back over to the player turns. I might want to start with her this time, as she's got all these really nice abilities here. So whenever this player plays a card, deal 1 damage to any target. Unfortunately, so many of these are really good for him. But I think I'm going to try to reduce some damage here. So this one is the Lifeblood Injector. This one deals damage from realm effects, quests, or own cards are reduced by 1 to this player. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to her. That's going to add a second counter. So now this is going to go off, dealing 2 damage to something. What do I want to hit? I think I will hit the house. All right, so that's 2 on that. Then I will trigger an activated ability. So I'm just going to do 2 air damage. I'll hit him for 2. All right, so let's go ahead and make some change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then that is her turn, so I'll draw a card. So we have Molten Blast. Deal X fire damage to any target where X equals the number of forged cards in play plus 3. Ooh, that's nice. All right, so her turn's done. I think I'll kick over to Aerie next. So, all right, so I think I'm going to play Rapid Research first. So this one says each player draws a card. Play 1 card from your hand. So she'll draw 1. She's going to draw 1, and he gets 1. And then I get to play another card. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this one. So this is a spell. It does 2 spirit damage to target enemy, and then I get to draw a card. So I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 to him. And then anytime, again, I do spirit damage, I get to heal a player 1 point. So that takes care of her playing a card. I'm going to go ahead and activate an ability doing the 5 elementals, again, spirit damage. And I'll target the other boss. So that's 2 more onto her. And again, I get to heal somebody. All right, and then I end my turn by drawing a card. Okay. Okay, so that is her turn. And over to Zan to finish us off here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the enhanced reflexes again. So this lets me play 2 additional cards this turn. So what do I want to play? I do, let's see, non-target boss does not attack this turn, okay. And this one is Zan deals X targets 4 earth damage, where X is the number of endowments in his graveyard. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that one. And it's going to be bumped up by 1 for this. So I'm doing 5 damage to X targets. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I got 4 endowments in there. So I'm going to target 4 I have 4 targets that I can hit for 5 damage. So I'm going to go ahead and finish him off first. So his thing is the Tomb of War. It's a trinket. Activated ability, draw 2 cards and play 1 from your hand. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and stack that right on top there. So that was my first target. I still have 3 left. I'm going to take out one of the golems, so I don't want them to stack up. So I have 2 targets left. I'll hit him for 5 and her for 5. And the reason I'm kind of balancing it out and I'm not dumping all of my damage onto trying to eliminate one first is the boss actually gets bumped up for each enemy that is, or each enemy boss that's killed. So if I can take them both out roughly the same time, then I can start hammering on him quickly, but I'll kind of minimize those effects, those bumped up effects for longer. At least that's my thought on it. I don't know, that could be a bad choice, but that's where I'm at. All right, so that was just my first card of 2. I have 1 more. I could do it again, and this time I'd be able to hit 5 targets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's everybody out there. Because I took out 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So I could do that. That might be my best option. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. So now I'm hitting 5 targets. So that's everybody out there for 5 damage. So both of them are going to lose those. These guys are both eliminated. So he is a massive damage dealer here. And the house is down to 5. All right. So from there, I am going to go ahead and do my activated ability. This is going to let me draw 2 cards and play a card from my hands. So and that's a little bit better than his ability, which has him draw 2 and then has to discard 1. All right, so then I have destroy target event or enchantment. Okay, target or damage to Zan reduced by 1. Zan's damage is reduced by 1. As an additional cost to the spell, discard a card, destroy target non-boss enemy with 10 HP or less. Non-boss enemy does not attack next turn. That's a quest. So I've pretty much eliminated everybody at this point. All right, I think I'm just going to hold there. So I don't think I have to play a card. So that is going to end my turn, and I'll draw a card for that. And recesses of the battlefield, draw 1 card, play 1 card from your hand. He heals the damage, can only cast this once per turn. Okay. All right, so that is all of our turns at this point. So I think at this point I'm going to take a couple turns off camera, and then I'll be back a little bit later to see how our characters are doing. All right, so we're back after a couple of rounds. I've been able to whittle down my 2 mini bosses substantially. I'm down to 11 and 13 hit points. They've been dealing a good amount of damage to me as well. My one player over here has taken considerable damage, and she's down to 26 points. This guy has 26, 7, 8, 9, 10, 31, and 33. So we're holding in there, but not doing super well. I've gotten some additional cards out. I was able to handle a few of the quests and whatnot. So we'll see how things are going from here. All right, so moving back into the scenario's turn. Again, I'm going to start off by drawing those 2 cards. So first one is Sacrificial Detonation. So if there's a Golem Warrior in play, sacrifice it to deal 5 damage to all players. If this does not occur, flip over another card from the scenario deck. So there are no Golem players out, or Warriors, so I got lucky there and avoided taking 5 damage per player, but I have to draw another card. So I'm still handling 2. So we have Reflective Armor. The next time 5 or more damage is dealt to one of the bosses, deal equal number of damage to the source. Sacrifice this card after it deals damage. So that's kind of nasty. And then we have intensified magic. Damage from these guys is increased by 1. Ugh, that's terrible. All right, so those are the 2 cards that are out, and now we handle the damage. So she is going to start us off, and she's going to do 4 damage now to the player that has the most cards in hand. So right now it is Zane that has the most cards. So he is going to take 4 damage for that. 2, 3, 4. And that is going to trigger again from this one as well. So I'm going to have to make some change here. So I'm going to switch that out. I'll do 2 10s and 5 1s. As I'm going to take 4 damage, I'm just going to take one of those back. So I'm down to 23 hit points now. All right, and then he's going to target the player that has the lowest HP, which at this point is actually my player there as well. So bad news all around for him. Yep, one more. So he's down to 19. I got to get some defense on him. 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, so that is all of that. So now we're over here. So this quest has no effects. It's just one that we can, the players can try to complete. So I'm going to draw a new card. And this one is the Dragon Salamander Infestation. This one has 10 hit points. At the end of the realm turn, deal 3 damage to the player with the highest HP. And there's no benefit to that otherwise. Like, it's just a creature that's out there, and he's dealing 3 damage to the highest HP. Yeah, she's definitely got the highest. And does 1 less because of her trinket out here, the Lifeblood trinket, which reduces that damage by 1. Or wait a minute. He's just a creature. Nope. It's just realm effects and quests. So I don't think that qualifies. All right, so that is all of that. So again, it's back over to the player's turns. And this guy's maxed out. Zen is maxed out at 7 cards. So he's going to be discarding cards. So I think at this point, it'd be great for her to go first. So Claire is going to go ahead and use this card here, which is a trinket. And it says, whenever this player discards 1 or more cards, you're going to deal 1 damage to any target. The effect triggers only once per discard effect. When played, this card can be given to another player. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Zen. That's going to bump my counter up to 6, and then I get to deal 6 damage to a target. I don't think I really want to target one of them at the moment because of the reflective armor. So I think I'll do it to that instead. So it's down to 4 hit points. Which is a shame because that would have been a good amount of damage to dish out, but that's all right. All right, so from there, then, oh, I do have an increase by 1, so, and that is a non-boss character from the house. So I do 7. All right, so from there, then I can do an activated ability, which lets me copy another card out there, which I don't really want to do at the moment. So I can do fire damage. So I could finish that off with the help of the house, as it does bump up damage. The Aura of Pain, damage to non-boss enemies increased by 1 for this player. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do it to this guy. That way then he is taken care of and I don't have to worry about that. All right, and then I'll end my turn by drawing a new card. So that'll take care of that. And I think I will move over to Zen then. All right, so I think I'm going to start off with a spell. So this is right place, right time, destroy target event or enchantment. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to take out this reflective armor. And with that, it says whenever this player whenever this player plays a card, deal 1 damage to any target. So I'm gonna go ahead and deal a damage to him. And I don't think I have anything else at the moment. All right, so I think from there, I'm gonna go ahead and trigger my active ability with the quest. So it lets me draw 2 cards and play a card. All right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this one here. So my deck is starting to get pretty low. I gotta be careful because I have a couple of cards that are really gonna benefit from those effects. So, all right, so let's see, deals X targets 4 earth damage where X is the number of endowments in his. All right, so I'm basically going to hit both of the bosses with this, or mini bosses. So I might as well do that. So I'll go ahead and play that. As I don't need to count the number of endowments, I'm only going to be hitting the 2 of them for 4 earth. I get 1 for there for 5. And then I increase it by 2 there for 7. So he's down to 3. So I'll just kick that over there. And she had 13, so she's going to have 8 left. And then I did play a card, so I do 1 more damage. So I'll kick 1 over to her. And that was my abilities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have to draw a card, and then I have to discard down. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one there. And that leaves me with 4 cards left in my deck. So next turn I have to pop these big ones here. All right, we'll see how that goes. All right, that I think is everybody, right? I did start off with her, then him. I haven't done Aerie yet, so let's see what I can do here. Deal 2 spirit damage to any target, heal target player 2. So I think I'll go with this one. So it's deal 2 spirit damage to any target and heal 2 damage to target player. So I'm going to go ahead and take 2 from her, and I'll go ahead and give it to him. And I think that's pretty much it. So then I'm going to do 3 more to her with my aura. So she's down to 2 hit points now, and I'll heal her for 1 with her ability there. And I think that's about it. So drawing a card, rapid research, okay. So that's pretty nice. And that's my turn. So back into a new round now. So again, we're starting off with the 2 draws. So we have Golem Warrior, and he's going to hit the player with the highest HP. So he's got 2, 3, he's got 21. She has 23, 4, 5, 6, 26, and she has 26. So it's tied. So I get to choose. Highest HP, damage from realm, effects, quests, or cards. All right, so she'll take the 2, so she's going to get 3 back. So that puts her down to that, and he has 3. All right, now would be a terrible time for that explosion, but all right, so then the player with the highest number of cards in hand cannot play spells their next turn. Enchantments, trinkets, and artifacts can be played. And I got a feeling that's him. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unless she's tied. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She is just short. So unfortunately, this is going to fall to him. That's going to affect his turn to be able to do things. So that was the 2 cards. So now it's damage. So she's going to do 4 damage to the player with the most cards. So it's going to be him. And I do have a dagger, which I forgot to resolve, which deals a damage that I can't prevent at the end of my turn. So he's Gonna take that. Same thing again. And he's gonna hit the player with the lowest HP for 4 as well. So this poor guy is almost done. All right, and that takes care of everything there. So it is over here. The Whistling Man. At the end of the realm turn, deal 2 damage to the lowest HP player. The player can sacrifice an enchantment or remove the Whistling Man from play. The player can sacrifice an enchantment to remove the Whistling Man from play at the end of their turn. Okay. All right, and then he's going to resolve that, so whew, that's a lot of damage. All right, so then it is back over to us to go. So I think I'm going to play the Bracers of Shielding. I'm going to add it to my player over here. That's going to bump my counter up to 7. So I'm dealing 7 damage to something. And I think it's time. I think it's time to try to take some guys out here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish him off at the 7 damage. So he's down. I'll just toss him up here on the side. And from there, I do have the activated ability. So I'm going to trigger. I could take her out. It says Precept has been killed, increase damage to 5. If Capture has been killed, change target to all players. So all players would take 6 damage. So I don't know if I'm ready for that yet because I can't really activate him. I don't want him to take a bunch of damage. So I think I'm going to take it on the Golem Warrior and get him out of here. And then she's going to go ahead and draw a card. So I have another one of those trinkets. All right, what else do I have here? If it draws a card, play a card from your hands. All right, what is she at? 6 still? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Rapid Research. So this is each player draws a card, and then I get to play a card from my hands. So each one of us gets to draw one. That'll give her the 7 cards that she can kind of take some of this stuff from him instead. So I think I'll do that. So I'll add that over there. So now my reductions, I get to reduce damage by 2 that I get from anybody. And I'm going to go ahead and activate her ability. So this is Selfless Protector. Aerie takes 2 damage, which cannot be prevented. Target another player cannot take damage until Aerie's next turn. So I'm going to target Zen over here so he cannot take any damage. And then she draws a card to finish her turn. When damage is dealt to another player, you can redirect up to 3 damage to yourself. Okay. All right, and Zen is over to finish us off. And with that spell, I cannot play spell cards. So that really limits what I can do. So I'm going to go ahead and play this, the Realm Traveler. This reduces damage from the realm effects by 1. I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice that to appease him, and this removes him from the game. So that'll go away. And then I played a card. Play a card, deal 1 damage to target. I wish I had another card to get rid of that event. And I think here I'm just going to activate my ability, which lets me draw 2 cards. Well, do I want to do that? No, I probably don't. I want to hold on to that because, again, I want to be able to trigger off as much as I can next turn. So I think I'm just going to draw a card and end my turn. Good, I got what I was hoping for. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in my hand, so I have to discard 1. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this one here. Okay. So then that'll go away to end his turn. And he does lose 1 point from the dagger. Which cannot be prevented. Target other player cannot take damage until... So I can't take damage. So I guess that would supersede it and just kind of prevents him from any of that. So I guess that's good. All right, so that is the end of that turn. So let's go ahead and move into the next realm turn. So now I'm just handling these 2 effects. So it's beginning of turn. Here's the first one. All right, so we have, if another is dealt damage, the one deals 4 damage to source. All right, so he's kind of a shield in there, so that's not good. All right, so he's got 15 hit points. And next card is a guard. So in turn, guard deals 3 damage to the player with the highest HP. All right, so terrible timing here. I have 2 more characters out there that are basically going to stop us from doing any damage to anybody else here. All right, so then she is going to deal 3 damage to the player with the most cards. So it's going to be 4 damage over here. And then he's going to do the same thing. So she's down to 21. Okay. And then does this one attack? That one does not attack unless it is attacked. And then this one does 3 damage to whoever has the highest HP, which is going to be her. And she reduces that damage by 2, so she just takes 1. Okay. All right, so that takes care of all of that. He is that, so she will actually take 2 because he does 4 because of that. Over to the realm, we have the Robislaw's Favor. So it needs a local crime boss takedown. He has 20 hit points. At the end of the realm turn, deal 3 damage to the player with the lowest HP. Black Butler's Gift. All players deal an additional damage to bosses. Boy, you can tell the game almost knows that I'm getting closer now because it is turning up the heat. Wow, 20 hit points. And he's going to deal 3 to the player with the lowest hit points, which he cannot target him. So she's going to take it instead. She's only going to take 2. So I'll change that out for 8 points. Okay. All right, so then it's back over to us. How do I want to do this? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do Molten Blast. This is a spell. I'm going to go ahead and do her turn first, I think, here. So this one does X fire damage to any target where X equals the number of forge cards in play plus 3. So I have 7 right now. And so that's going to give me a 10 damage hit. And damage to non-boss enemies increased by 1. So that's 11 points of damage. I'm going to hit him for that. So that'll drop him down to 4. Well, let's just do 3 damage to him with her ability there. I think that will finish her turn off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a card. The Giving Forge. Whenever a card is given to another player, We play another card. Ooh. No, cannot trigger more than once per turn. But that's not bad. Gives her 2 cards a turn that she can potentially play. All right, so I think it's probably better for her to go next. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a spell. This is deal 2 spirit damage to target enemy. Draw 1 card. So I'm going to deal 2 to him. And then basically, since it's spirit damage, I can heal somebody 1. So I'm going to go ahead and give that to him. That'll take out that guy. And I drew a card. And then I do have her activated ability I could hit, which I can go after her. I think that's what I'll do. I'll try this out. So I'm going to do the spirit 2 damage onto her. That's going to finish her off. And do 1, I'm going to, well, okay. So I'm going to try it. Let's see if that pans out. So that'll take care of her. I gave him the extra hit point for that, which means that he's kind of a sitting duck here, but we'll see what I can do with that, as I really needed to get both of those out of the way. All right, and then the end of her turn, she draws a card. Okay. And that's her turn, so we're over to him to finish it off here. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by playing Enhanced Reflexes. So Zen can play 2 additional cards this turn. Can only cast Enchanted Reflexes once per turn. So I'm going to go ahead and cast this. So by doing so, I trigger this one. Whenever this player plays a card, deal 1 damage to any target. So I'll do 1 there, because he's still providing shield cover for him. Okay, so now I can play 2 additional cards. So I'm going to go ahead and target. I'm going to start with this one here. Zan deals any target X damage, where X is the number of endowments in his graveyard. I was kind of hoping to hit the boss with both of those, but I have to get that guy out of the way first. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 in the graveyard right now, plus all my other bonuses, which means that he is going to be out of here. All right. That guy just goes in the graveyard. All right. So that takes care of that one. So I have 1 card left to play. Okay, so let's see. So I'll go ahead and do that. Might as well hit him now. So now I should have 13 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 13 in there. And then I add 1 for that for 14. And 15, 16 for that. So 16 damage onto him for that. And then I played a card, so I deal a damage to him. Okay. And now it's on to my ability, which I'm going to go ahead and do the draw 2 cards and play 1 card from your hands. So I'm going to go ahead and do Foresight. This is going to let me draw 3 cards, discard a card from your hand, and play 1 card from your hand. So I'm out of cards, so I have to shuffle these up. So that's unfortunate, because that was pretty good damage-wise. And the interesting thing that's kind of fun with the prototype cards is that the way that they're cut, they actually shuffle better if you do them face up versus face down. So that's why I'm shuffling them this way, as they actually ruffle shuffle better that way. So, all right, so from there, and then I'm drawing 3 cards. So 1, 2, and 3. And I get to play a card. So those were not very helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one here. This is a spell. It lets me draw a card, play a card from your hand, and heal 1. So draw a card, play a card, and heal 1. So I've pretty much triggered, I think, just about everything I possibly can here. So that was another card I played, so he took 1 for that. I can't remember if he took 1 for the other one. I think he did. All right, so deal 2 damage, 2 water damage. So I'm going to go ahead and play that one. So that's another card I played, so that's water damage. And then it does 2 damage to him, 3, 4, 5. So not a bad turn overall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I draw a card. Go ahead and drop one of these. And I discarded a card, so I triggered that as well. So that's another damage to him for that effect. All right, 2, 4, 6, 7. All right, and I do take 1 damage for that effect. All right, now the pain. All right, so first off, I have to start at the beginning of the round drawing a card. So we have another guard coming out. In this turn, he does 3 damage to the player with the highest HP. So he's going to stop us from doing damage to him again. So I'll put him up front here to kind of remind. All right, and then he's going to deal 5 damage to each player. So it doesn't matter about cards in their hand then. And then he's going to trigger highest HP. So we have 10, 14, 17. So he's going to target her for 4. Okay. Then it kicks over to the realm. Salamander. Okay. The highest HP. So it's another 10 out there. Oh, and she reduces by 2. So she only takes 4. Okay. All right, so then he's going to trigger, and he deals 3 damage to the player with the highest HP, which is her. So she's going to reduce that, so she'll lose 1 there. And then this guy goes off, and this guy, the other round player with the lowest HP. All right, so he's going to take Zane out, as I've only got 3 hit points left. All right, so he's out. So when a character is eliminated, let's see, there was some effect. So dead characters act as inspiring memory. A dead player may have 1 other player activate a card, or let another player use an activated ability from their card. Additionally, each dead character increases all player damage by 1. Okay, so he's out. That's really unfortunate. If I could have just gotten another hit point out of him, or probably should have put something else on him. But that's what it is. All right, so that is that, and it is over to the player turns. And I'm just going to kind of close up his stuff here. Leave the rest out, I think. I don't know if all that goes away or not, but they can activate his abilities. All right, so I don't know if I'm going to have what I need to get this done, because my other players really don't deal a ton of damage. All right, so I'm going to give her the Helm of Knowledge. That lets her, as an activated ability, draw 3 cards and discard 1 card from your hands. That's going to bump that up to 8. which is going to trigger. I pretty much, which is 9, pretty much would want to go after him. Those realm effects are a problem, though. They're doing an extra 6 damage a turn now, basically. All right. So then I can activate her ability. Might as well take him out so that I can at least try to hit the boss a little bit here. And then I draw a card. Okay. All right, so her turn is done. Over to my other character. It's a shame she doesn't have like a resurrection card. That'd be cool. Draw 4 cards, discard 2 from your hand, play 1 card from your hand. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. So that's me draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I get to play a card from my hands. I have a heal 5 card. So that's not bad. Dealt to players by 1. Aerie takes 1 damage at the end of her turn. Probably should have popped that selfish sacrifice because I could have at least taken some of it from him, but I think I pretty much needed to do that anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Rod of Domination. This has 2 activated abilities on it. I can either deal 5 damage to any target, fire damage, or I can heal target player 3 damage. All right, that is the card I think I'm going to play at this point. So activated abilities, I'm going to go ahead and trigger it to deal 5 damage, which is increased to 6 with my ring, and 1 more for Zane, so 7 damage onto the boss. So he is down to 58 hit points. All right, and then she draws a card, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in hand. That is the end of the turn, so now it is back over to the boss. So again, drawing a card. Reflective Armor, the next time 5 damage is dealt, equal to, okay, so unfortunately that's bad news. And then he's dealing 5 damage to both of us. It's going to be reduced down to 3 here, or 4 because of that aura. And I think this is just realm stuff, realm effects, quests, and your own cards. So she's going to take the full brunt of it. So I'll drop 11 and get 5 back. All right, and then that handles all of that. So then it's over here, and he's going to deal 3 damage to the target player with the most hit points. So that's going to be her. So she takes 1 for that. And then he's going to deal 2 damage to the lowest hit point player. So she's going to take 2. All right, back over to us. I don't think this is going to go too well here, but let's see what we can do. All right, so I have the Molten Blast again, so it deals X fire damage to any target where X is equal to the number of forge cards plus 3, but that Reflective Armor is in there. Delta, deal an equal number of damage to the source. Yeah, so this would just obliterate me on top of it. So that's really unfortunate. All right, I think I'm going to have to do the World Breaker. So this reduces the counters down by 3, so I'm down to 5 now. And it lets me destroy an event. So at least that gets rid of that. That's all I can do. Well, I do have the other stuff here, so I'm going to go ahead and do 3 damage to him. Keep working on him. Because there's not much else I can do at this moment. So that's her turn. and it's over here. All right, so I'm going to do this one. So this lets me heal 5 and play a card from my hands. All right, so that takes care of that. And then I'm going to do, let's return. All right, I'm going to do the memory card again. Lets me draw 4, and then I discard 2 from my hand and play a card. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to drop 2 of these. Well, 2 cards from my hand. So rapid research, I think. Target player may return a chance to from the graveyard to their. All right, I don't think that's going to do me any good. So it doesn't have any limitations on that, according to that. So I get to play another card. So I'm just going to go ahead and play another one of those. Lets me draw 4 more. 2, 3, 4. Hopefully I'll get another healing card. And then discard 2. So I'll go ahead and drop that one there. And I'll drop that one. All right. And I got another one, so I'll do it again. So there's 2 more. All right, so let's see. Reduce damage dealt. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one that deals 2 spirit damage to any target. Heal target player 2. So I'm going to go ahead and give her 2. And it's spirit damage. So I'm going to increase that by 1 and then 1 for him. So that's 4. So he's down to 51 hit points for that. And then I still do have an activated ability. All right. I'm going to go ahead and try to heal. I'll heal 3. Try to keep her alive a little bit longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Draw a card for 9, and then I have to discard 2. So go ahead and drop 1, so that's 8, and 1 more. Okay, go ahead and drop that one. I don't have time for that. All right. So it's back into a new round. So again, new card. It's another guard. Man, these guys are brutal. I just can't deal enough damage to chew through these guys, it seems. All right, so that's another 12. And then that guy has an end of round effect, doesn't he? At the end of the scenario turn, he deals 3 damage to player with the highest hit points. All right, so then he's going to deal 5 to both players. And that's going to be reduced. She doesn't, but I get to reduce that by 2 for her. So she takes 3 instead. And then he's going to do 3. So she's going to reduce that by 1. Same with him. So she's down to 9. And then he targets the player with the lowest number of hit points for 3. So she's going to take 2 because that does prevent 1. All right, and then I do have to draw a card. So we have an event, Magic Thief. At the end of the realm turn, players must discard a card. A player can sacrifice a trinket to remove Magic Thief from play at the end of their turn. Okay. All right, so each player has to discard a card. So I got 3 of those rings. Might as well drop one of those. And then she has to drop a card. I'll drop that one. All right, so then it's over to us. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So this is up to 4 targets take X damage, where X is the number of forge cards in play. So it doesn't really have any effect on the counter. It's just the cards in play. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 non-boss enemies. So 7, 8. So it's 8 damage to all non-boss enemies. So it's just going to be the 3 of them. So then you're down to 4 hit points. Okay, so that takes care of that. Then I can trigger an ability. I can do 4 damage to something. So I might as well take you out. With that, I draw a card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 spirit damage to all enemies. That's increased to 3 and 4 from that. So that's 4 damage to everybody, which is going to heal somebody 1. So I'll heal her 1. And that's 4 damage. So let's go ahead and break his stuff down now. So 25, 35, 45, 50, and 4 damage. So I'll take 4 of those away. So he's down to 47. And this one's eliminated. And there's no reward for that. Event, a quest, and then he takes 4 more, so he's gonna be down to 8. Okay. So that takes care of her played card. And I'll go ahead and heal player 3. All right. That will end her turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cards. And this one was what? Player can sacrifice a trinket or remove Magic Thief. Okay. All right, so card. Player with the highest number of cards in hand cannot play any spells. I think it's her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, she cannot play spells this turn. And then he's going to attack, dealing 5 to each player. So she's going to take 5. And then she takes 3. So that takes care of that. So then we're over here. Left Tower Books. The owners of Left Tower Books are looking for rare tome and will pay handsomely for its retrieval. A player can sacrifice a trinket or enchantment at the end of their turn to complete the quest. Tome of Arcane Protection. Activated ability, heal target player 3 damage. Okay. That could be good. And then he's going to deal 3 damage to the player with the lowest HP. So her. So she's going to have 1 hit point left. All right, so it's back over to us. And let's see here. I cannot play a spell. So it's going to take care of those 2. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one here. All right, so from there, then I'm going to bump that up by 1. So that's going to do 8 damage at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy out of here and eliminate him. So that is a quest. So when that happens, I get to draw a card and heal a damage. And now all players deal an additional damage to bosses for the rest of the game. Well, as long as he's out there. I am going to go ahead and discard this then to complete this quest so that I can get the Tome of Arcane Protection. And I'm going to go ahead and activate that right away. And I also completed the quest. I get to draw a card and heal 1. And then that lets me heal 3. Okay. All right, and that'll take care of that as I've completed my turn. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And all right, so her turn is done. Over to my other character over here to go. Distinguish the target player. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one here. So this deals 2 damage to any target, so I'm going to do 4 damage to him instead. And it's spirit damage, so I get to heal somebody by 1. And then that also lets me heal 2 because of the card. And then I'm going to trigger my activated ability with this one to deal 5 damage, 6, 7 total. So he's down to 37 hit points. All right. And then I get to draw a card. Okay. And that is my turn. So back over here. It's a Golem Warrior, so 3 hit points. And it's going to deal 2 damage to the player with the highest hit points. She's got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So she takes 2. He's got 3 hit points on him. All right, and then he does 5 to each of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm holding on there. And she reduces that by 2. All right. And that's that. All right, so from here, then it's back over here. And we have the Weakened Magic. At the end of the realm turn, each player must discard a card. The player can discard their hand at the end of their turn to destroy this event. All right, so it's just going to have me dropping cards. So I have to drop 2 cards now at the end of this. So it's going to just start draining cards out of my hands here. So I'll drop that one, and drop that one for her. Drop this one. I'll drop this one. All right, so that's back over to us to go. And this player draws 1 or more cards. Draw an additional card. Okay. Trigger the forge damage effect twice. May pick different targets. So that's 6 damage. 7, 8 damage. Twice is 16. So that's going to give me 9 back. So that takes care of that. And so that was my played card. I'll activate her ability. So that's 2, 3, 4 damage on him. For that. And she draws a card. All right, so that's her turn. Over to my other character over here. He's got 16 hit points left. What to do? All right, so I'm going to do rapid research. So each player draws a card, and I get to play another card. All right, and then I'm going to do this one here. It lets me draw 4 cards and discard 2 cards from your hand, and then I get to play a card. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and I have to discard 2. So I'll drop that and drop one of these. All right, I'll do this one. Let's each of us draw a card. Not that it's going to matter for her too much. Really liked. Okay, so this one lets me heal 5 and then play 1 card from my hand. So that takes care of that one. All right, so I'm going to do this one here. This deals 2 spirit damage to all enemies, and it will heal somebody, so I'm going to take the one on myself here. That will be enough to take care of the golem, and then it's 4 damage onto him, +1 for that, and +1 for that. And then that is all of the cards I can play at the moment. So now I have an activated ability. I'm going to go ahead and deal the 5 fire damage, which is 6, 7 to him, which is going to drop him down to 5 hit points. All right, so that is the end of my turn. I get to draw a card. Okay. That'll finish off my turn there. So it's back over to our boss to go. Sacrificial detonation. So there are no golems out. So that was good. And another guard. Damn. So close. All right. So then he's going to deal 5 to each of us. So that'll take either character down here. So she's gone. Because there's nothing else I can do there. And she's going to take 3 for that. Then he deals 3 damage. So she's going to reduce it by 2. So she takes 1 for that. And then over to the realm. So we have an event. Distrust among the halls. Can make cooperation impossible. Players may not heal other players. A player can take 4 damage into their turn to destroy this event. Well, she's the last player left, so it doesn't matter there. And then I do have to drop 2 cards for that. So I'll drop these 2 here. Right. And I'm going to go ahead and play, going into her turn, I'm going to play this one. Let's hear her heal 5. And I can play another card from my hands. So this one lets me deal 2 spirit damage to target enemy and draw 1 card. So I get to draw a card. And 2 spirit damage, which will heal me 1, which is going to turn into 3 points of damage that I have to put on this guy. So that's going to put him at 9. And from there, I'm going to go ahead and do the 5, 6 fire damage to him. There's not much else I can do there, and then I'll draw a card. Okay. Or actually, I'm going to have to pull that back here for a second. I'm going to have to activate this instead, which lets me draw 3 cards. And then I have to discard 1. Now I got all of my draw cards. That's not good. Okay. So I'll drop that one. Okay. So that way then I have 4 cards in my hand. Because it was a negated 2. Yeah, that way then I actually have cards to play in my hand. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to do that. I wouldn't have any. All right, so back over to the boss's turn. So no spells can be played this time. And then it's damage. So 5, which is going to be dropped to 3. And he's doing 3, which is dropped to 1. So it's going to be 4 damage total there for that. And then I have the events. So this one doesn't matter. I'm just going to get rid of it because I can't heal anybody anyways. And those 2 will have me drop in cards. And I have to draw a new one. So this one is the Whistling Man. At the end of the realm turn to deal 2 damage to the lowest player. Player can sacrifice an enchantment or remove the Whistling Man. Okay. Now I have to drop 2 cards. So I'll drop that one there. I guess I'll drop that one. All right. So that takes care of all of that. And it's back over to me. He's going to deal 2, but I'm going to reduce it by 2, I believe. So it's going to nullify it. And then it's my turn, so I'm going to draw 4 cards and discard 2. So there's 2 cards. That'll go in my discard. Okay, and then it's 2 more. I have to drop 2 of these. So I'll drop that one, and I'll drop that one. All right, so then I'm going to heal her 5, and I get to play another card. So I'm going to do this one again, which lets me draw 4 and discard 2 and play a card. So 1, 2. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. I can't do that. These are all spells. So I would lose that because I can't heal. I can't reverse that. So I'll just stop there, and I'll do the 6 damage with that, with my activated ability, as I can't do anything else at the moment. So I'll just hold there, and I did not play that one. Yeah, I cannot play that one, so I'll hold there. All right, so that will go away. Next card is a Golem, which is 2 damage to player with the highest HP. He's not going to do any damage because I drop it by that number. Okay. And then it's the 5 damage. So it's going to be 4 damage total. So I'm down to 4 hit points. And then all of this stuff over here. And I have a new one, which is Escape Unicorn Pack. 10 hit points. At the end of each realm turn, deal 2 spirit damage to the player with the highest hit points. All right, so she's taking 2, but she's dropping it by 2. So, and then I have to drop 2 cards. All right, so I'll drop that one and this one here. All right, so then it's my turn. So now I'll play the 4 card, or the spell to draw 4 cards, discard 2, and play 2 from your, or play 1 from your hands. So there's 2, 3, 4. I've dropped 2 cards. So I'll drop that one and this one. I'm gonna do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop 2. There's 1. 2. I'm going to go ahead and play that to get the 5 hit points. And I get to play another card. 1 card. All right. So I'm going to do the 2 spirit damage to all enemies, which is bumped up to 3, 4 from him. So there's going to take care of that guy there. This guy here. And 4 onto him, which puts that at 6. And that is my played card. So then I'm going to activate my ability to do 5 damage to the boss, which will finish him off. Whew, that was a close battle, and it came right down to the end with my character over here. Ari was able to hold out. Well, it doesn't get any closer than that. I almost didn't make it. It came right down to the end, and I did make a couple of little mistakes that could have altered it a little bit. I don't know if it would have been enough to keep Claire in the game, but there was definitely a couple of little things that I did make. Obviously, that big one with Aerie being messing up that spell where that turn where she couldn't cast any spells was kind of a big one. But also when Jane died and during his turn, the one thing I did forget was that you can actually take one action at that point. So I could have at least been able to do little bits of damage here and there throughout the rest of the game. And I also, on top of being able to augment the other character's damage abilities. So that was a big thing that could have potentially changed things and possibly ended the game a little earlier, maybe even keeping Claire in the game. But either way, it came right down to the wire, and I hope it gave you a good idea how the game plays and progresses. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please post those in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Or swing by the Kickstarter's comment section page and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure the creators would love to hear from you and are more than happy to answer any questions you have. Until next time, I'll see you later.